We had some beautiful trades from the daily market breakdown videos this past week. Let's get right into this week's Forex Forecast. Starting the forecast off with the US dollar COT report. The past week, the banks added 100 long positions and they got rid of 387 short positions. Now, looking at a top-down approach, starting from the weekly chart here, remember, we are inside of weekly demand, although it has tested a lot. Once, twice, three, almost pretty much 4 times at this point. So the question is, will this demand hold? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I don't know. I think we could see a bigger move up, but ultimately I think we will continue to push down based on what I'm seeing on the lower time frame. So if you look at a daily chart here, the big question was, are we going to pull back up to this supply at 103.53 on the daily chart? Now, to me, it doesn't look like we are pulling back up to there, but if we do, I think that's a great area to look for a potential short trade on the US dollar. And it's actually more visible what's going on here in the 1 hour chart. We had a 1 hour supply level here, and clearly, this supply level is just holding up price very, very well. We have seen 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 5, almost 6 reactions off of this supply zone, and we are just basing out. So honestly, if we start to chug down here and start to break these lows and stuff like that, create that 1 hour downtrend, I think we are most likely going to be headed to the downside. If we break up above this supply zone, that will be a very significant thing, not only because we are breaking supply, but what that could mean is on the 4 hour chart is that this 4 hour downward trend line is holding. Clearly, we are struggling to break above this trend line. So we are basically looking to see, price break above this trend line on the 4 hour chart, where then at that point, it would be definitely a bullish sign on the US dollar, where we could then assume that, we might be headed back up to this daily supply. So hopefully that'll make sense in the dollar. I'm personally going to be monitoring this 1 hour supply zone and this 4 hour downward trend line to see what takes place, if we can remove them or not. All right, on to the Euro US dollar. The past week, the banks got rid of 3,439 long positions, and they also got rid of 2,840 short positions. Now, I just wanted to announce to you guys that from here on out, all of the ad revenue generated from the weekly Forex Forecast videos will be donated to my local hospice residency monthly. So every month I will take the ad revenue generated from these forecast videos and donate it to my local hospice. If you don't know what hospice is, it is designed to help patients at the end of their life. So it's just something that I want to do. I just think it's the right thing to do. So with that being said, would appreciate a thumbs up on the video to get more people watching, generate more ad revenue, generate more donations. So I'm pretty excited to announce this. And like I said, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and if not, make sure to give that video a thumbs up just to generate more views. The more views, the more donations. So looking forward to that and to continue to donate to that charity. But as the euro goes here, we have a nice daily uptrend right there. So that's definitely important to remember. We are pretty close to the trend line though, so not the most bullish thing I've ever seen. On the 4 hour chart here, yes, this 4 hour demand is currently still holding. We could be day trading long, but honestly, guys, on the euro, there hasn't really been any setups. I've been doing the daily market breakdown videos for the members, and there's just been really not a lot of setups. It's just so choppy and sideways. We are essentially just waiting for the breakout to the upside, or to the downside. So as far as the euro goes today, I'm not seeing anything. With the daily trend to the upside, in my opinion, we have to favor longs. So I do personally think if you are going to trade this at all, it should be to the long side, in my opinion. But like I said, just a lot of sideways price action. And back to the 4 hour chart again. Yeah, okay, the overall momentum is up, but this is just such horrible price action here. We just really want to see a breakout to the upside. But like I said, you could just be looking for longs based on that daily trend, but it's not the highest odds situation right now on the euro US dollar. But that's the way trading is sometimes. On to the forecast for gold. The past week, the banks got rid of 19,000 longs and they got rid of 6 shorts. Weekly chart first, just want to remind you guys, beautiful weekly uptrend, although we are at the highs. That is definitely something to remember. But overall, weekly trend is up. In my opinion, we want to be favoring longs. Looking at the daily chart here, I still think the pullback down to like 2000, 1996, down to that daily zone could still be good. And who knows, we could still be pushing down to there to fuel for that bigger move up. That is definitely very, very possible. But as you can see, this last daily candle here, pretty bullish green candle in my opinion, is definitely more visible on the lower time frames. If you look on the 1 hour chart, we have a beautiful reaction off of this 1 hour demand zone. We could definitely continue to see the push up off of this demand zone because it removed, you know, these supply zones. Speaking of this supply zone, we actually caught this beautiful 3-to-1 trade here on gold off of this supply zone, as you can see in the daily market breakdown video. So if you want to get my daily market breakdowns throughout the week, my daily chart analysis, Sunday meetings, video lessons, and much more, check out the Diamond membership. Links are in the description down below. We'd be happy to see all serious traders join the team. We also have lifetime access available if you don't want to pay monthly, so check it out. Links in the description down below. We'd be happy to see everyone join and get my daily market breakdowns throughout the week to catch trades like this. So anyways, this demand was good because it removed this supply, which I already said we got a nice trade off of. So this is proven demand in my opinion. Now, with that being said, we could see the move up still, so we could just be on day trading timeframes on a 5-minute chart in here looking for longs on those day trading timeframes. And, you know, that's pretty much all I see on gold. Let's say we continue to push up. What I'm going to be monitoring next is the removal of this 4-hour supply. If we remove that, any 4-hour demand zone there could be decent for longs. So, you know, with that demand zone in control on the 1-hour chart, I do personally think we will probably see gold continue to go up. If we remove that demand, then I think it is most likely we're going to be headed back down to 2,000 on gold. So hopefully all that makes sense. Remember, guys, any questions at all, do not hesitate to leave a comment and ask me a question. Now onto the forecast for the USDJPY. The past week, the banks added 6,533 longs, and they also added 7,700 short positions. Now looking at a daily chart here first, remember, the overall momentum is down. We have daily supply zone currently being respected. So do I want to be going in long right now? Not necessarily. We could, based on the fact that this zone is so tested. Even the zone above, it's a reaction of the zone above anyways. So with that being said, if you are bullish the dollar, I don't blame you for potentially looking for longs. What I would personally do is wait for the pullback down to 4-hour demand down here at 142.13. That would be the best situation in my opinion for longs. Or if you look at a 1-hour chart, we clearly lost momentum here. If we can remove this supply zone, that would be a bullish sign as well. And then we could look for longs at any 1-hour zone that breaks that supply. But for those of you who are bearish, which I am kind of bearish based on that daily supply, we're going to have to obviously monitor the DXY as well to really get the bigger perspective on what is taking place. But clearly, we had a beautiful upward trend line here, and that trend line was removed by the supply at 145.23. If you are bearish, this is the supply zone that I could see working out. Could probably get a nice 3-to-1 trade off of that supply zone. It is definitely very decent, and that's really all I'm looking at for shorts. You could also use this zone as a higher time frame and zoom into a 1-minute time frame or even a 5-minute chart as well, and look for shorts as we come off of that supply as well. So a lot of options here. On the USDJPY, and like I said, if we remove that 1-hour supply, that doesn't mean we have a 1-hour uptrend and we're just going to continue to go up, but it's definitely the first phase, what we need to see to consider, you know, maybe we're going to continue to push up here in the daily chart. So really, all of the USDJPY is going to revolve around that 1-hour supply zone for now. On to the forecast for the GBPUSD. The past week, the banks got rid of 1,100 longs, and they also got rid of 6,639 shorts. What are your thoughts on the pound? This is something I'm going to be doing every single week from here on out. I want to know your guys' thoughts on the pound. I'm going to start calling it thoughts on the pound. I'm going to say it every single time. So let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on the pound every single week, trying to get more participation in here. My thoughts are, you know, we have a daily uptrend, so we really want to be favoring longs, in my opinion. If you look here on the 4-hour chart, we clearly are just going sideways. It is not my favorite time to be trading, although we had a decent little 4-hour demand zone there. We could have been looking for longs off that demand zone, and it is still being respected, so we could be looking for day trading longs as we continue to push up off of this 4-hour demand zone. The next thing I'll be looking for if we can continue to push up is the removal of this supply. Why that supply? Well, you can see we've already had a reaction off of it from here. Supply was created, you know, a very, very long time ago. Very, very significant supply zone here on the pound. So that's why I am looking to see that removed as the next step, because we've already got the pullback down to this zone. So that trade's already worked out. This trade's already worked out down here. This one worked out a bit, but now, like, this trade's already worked out, so now we're just waiting for the next zone to be removed to create the next demand zone where we can look for longs at. Now, on the 1-hour chart, something interesting happened here as well, where we actually had this 1-hour demand zone here at 1.27. Beautiful reaction off that zone so far. Nice push up followed by a pretty decent push down, but the zone is still holding. We could just be on day trading time frame still on like a 5-minute chart, as well as this 1 hour demand is in control, be looking for longs as well. So definitely pretty bullish with that overall daily trend. But remember, not the highest odds situation here based on the sideways action. But like I said, my thoughts are with the daily trend to the upside, I think we need to be favoring longs, and that's why I'm pointing out those demand zones and what to be doing to look for longs. So let me know your thoughts on the pound. USDCAD, the past week the banks got rid of 22,360 longs, and they also got rid of 8,609 short positions. Now, if we look at it, the daily chart here, this is supply up here, this is demand. This I would call the middle of supply and demand. Very, very simple analysis. So I just want to say, not the highest odds chart to be trading based on that. We prefer to be trading at demand and at supply on the higher time frames. It doesn't mean we can't get a trade though, and at the end of the day, daily demand is in control. So I think favoring longs, there is reason to favor longs. Any pullback on the 4-hour chart down to 1.325 to that demand zone is a decent pullback in my opinion if you are bullish. Now, if you're trying to get involved a little bit earlier, again, we have a lot of sideways action here like we have on a lot of the pairs, but we do have a 1 hour demand zone down here at 1.335. We could see a move off of that 1 hour demand zone, although, again, it's not located anywhere. There's really no trend, so it's not the highest odds situation right now, but, based on my analysis, I think we could be looking for longs, and that's really all I'm seeing here on the 1 hour chart. So we need to be patient, wait for the 1 hour pullback long or down to the 4 hour demand zone long as we continue to trade, hopefully up to daily supply at 1.35. So this is one of those times where we want to be favoring longs because the daily demand zone, it's in control. This was the last zone that was hit, not this one, and there's clear profit margin, tons of profit margin left. That's why we are looking for an entry here on the USDCAD. On to the forecast for the Aussie US dollar. The past week, the banks added 2,884 longs, and they also got rid of 7,735 shorts. Now, again, I said this last week as well. I was really hoping we could just get the pullback down to this daily demand at 0.66. It's definitely still possible. It is a good demand zone. I personally will be looking for swing trading longs in this daily demand zone on the Aussie US dollar. That's just me personally. So, you can have the thought of just, I just want to wait for this zone to be hit, and then I'll look to trade. Some of you who might be a little bit more aggressive might want to be trying to take where we are right now and just trade to the short side all the way down to this daily demand, because we clearly have profit margin here to fill in between price and where that daily demand zone is. If you look at a 4-hour chart, it's not really saying much. At this supply up above here, I still think it is decent to look for a short up here at 0.68. 124 at the 4-hour supply zone. I think that's definitely probably the best area to look for a short. But remember, I would not trade the supply zone if we hit that daily demand zone first. I'm saying if we push up from here, we don't hit the daily demand zone first, then it is good. But if we push down, hit the daily demand zone first, and then react off the zone, it's most likely going to fail, or at least only get a small reaction off of it. So either wait for that zone to be hit for shorts. This zone here at 0.67, it's decent as well. It's tested, but you could be looking for confirmation on a lower time frame. Or if we push down, break this 4-hour demand zone, any 4-hour supply zone there would be our potential short trade. And you might notice this demand zone here. You could look for longs in here if you are bullish. I'm personally not. I'd rather just wait for that daily demand zone to be hit. But at the end of the day, it is a 4-hour zone. We could be looking for day trading longs coming off of that 4-hour demand zone. And it is also inside of a 1-hour demand zone as well. But as far as the Aussie goes, I personally think we are probably just going to push down to this daily zone first. So I think looking for shorts, like I said, is still okay. And then look to take profit right around 0.66 at that daily demand zone. Me personally, I don't really day trade, so I'm just going to be waiting for that daily zone to be hit before I look for longs. On to the forecast for the USDCHF, the Swiss franc. The past week, the banks got rid of 513 longs, and they also added 310 shorts. Real quick, remember, weekly downtrend, daily downtrend. What that means is that over here on my 4-hour and my 1-hour chart, that means we want to be favoring shorts. There's really no ifs, ands, buts, or about it. That's just what we got to be doing based on the trends. The only set and forget zone I see is up here at 0.86. I think it's a decent 4-hour supply zone to look for shorts. That's pretty much all I'm seeing on this 4-hour chart. Now, if you want to be on the 1 hour chart, if you are a 1 hour chart trader, that's fine. I completely get it. We want to wait for this demand zone to be removed. It's clearly demand. It's been tested and reacted off of. If we remove this demand zone, any 1 hour supply zone there could be our potential 1 hour trade to continue to trade to the downside. So I think the USD Swiss, we definitely want to be favoring shorts, although clearly just going sideways, momentum is somewhat up here, so it's been a little bit tricky, but we just have to remember that the weekly and the daily chart are both trending down. So what we're seeing here could just be a temporary pullback before we get that bigger push down. So that's why I'm going to be favoring shorts here in the USD Swiss, and hopefully my two plans with the 4 hour supply zone above, waiting for that, or waiting for new supply zones to be formed in the 1 hour chart. I hope that's making sense. All right, last but not least, on to crude oil. The past week, the banks they got rid of 10,806 shorts longs, and they also got rid of 16,759 shorts. So daily chart first here. Remember, daily trend is down. The trend line is all the way over here. We still have room to that trend line. So the overall trend, in my opinion, is down, which means we want to, in theory, be favoring shorts. On the 4 hour chart here, we clearly have 4 hour demand zone being respected and momentum being up. So it doesn't mean we just want to be piling on the shorts. I'm actually seeing potential room for both to play kind of both sides. If you look at a 1 hour chart, things are more clear. We have two fresh 1 hour demand zones down below. If you are bullish oil and you think that daily trend is going to come to an end and we are going to break it, then what I'd be doing is waiting for either one of these 1 hour zones to be hit to look for longs. Obviously, the one lower at 70, 79 is going to be better with all of this liquidity taken out here. That's going to be a better zone for long. So two clear demand zones here if you are bullish. You could also be using these zones for day trading longs, which means when these zones are contacted, you can then go down to a 1 minute, 5 minute, or a 50-minute chart and kind of just narrow down your entry. Now, if you are bearish, if you want to trade that daily downtrend, which I get, we do have supply above at 74.17. We definitely could see a move off of that 1 hour supply zone. And again, you could use that for day trading time frames on the lower time frames as well. It doesn't just have to be a straight up entry on the 1 hour chart. But there's a lot of profit margin from demand to supply, so you could kind of be playing both here. The overall momentum is up. If we do pull back down to this zone here, the momentum will obviously be down or at least sideways at that point. So just something to remember. But overall, a little bit tricky here on oil. I'm long-term bullish on oil, but you cannot deny this daily downtrend. But to me, it doesn't look like we really want to push down. It looks like this is the basing out before the break. So that's why I'm kind of pointing out, both sides, because I definitely could see reasons for trading both sides. So anyways, guys, that's it for oil. If you guys want to watch the full-length forecast with all the other markets, make sure to subscribe to the channel membership to get access.